back to Friday Night Fever, and what a night for Friday Night Fever it is. I'm Sammy Roebuck. You might notice that I'm by myself up here on this awesome stage. Well, that's because we're switching stuff up a little bit this week. Jason, he's all the way in Georgia. We'll hear from him shortly. But first, we're going to have our game of the week. Check this out. We have TCPS traveling to the Vardaman Rams. What a matchup. Let's take a look.
The Friday Night Fever Game of the Week is sponsored by Game Day Haircuts.
Now, the unbeaten Rams hosted the Eagles. Welcome them to Carter Field right there. 1A playoffs for second round. And here we go. Brady White, he hands off to 10. Ethan Parker, and he breaks through the madness. Touchdown, first touchdown of the night. Rams up 7-0 after the PAT. After 3-and-out, Rams back on offense, and Zay Pratt, he gets a big first down, and it takes almost the entire Eagle defense to take him down. Here we go, Rams again. This time it's Bentley Hamilton, and he takes it almost all the way. He's pushed out just above the 10. And same drive, end of the first quarter. Here comes Zay Pratt. Did you miss him? Well, he makes it into the end zone this time for 6. 2-point conversion, no good though, but it doesn't even matter because the Rams, they kept on rolling, and they won 42 to TCPS's 7. They will play the Bearcats all the way over in Baldwin next week, a little closer to home for us. And it was Tupelo versus DeSoto Central in football, but here's a little special shout out to Tupelo girls cross country. They are state championship winners. As for football, here comes Jeremiah Harrell, and he finds Tyreek Darden, and that is a Tupelo Golden Wave touchdown. 7-0 after the PAT. Cheerleaders really having something to cheer about, of course, on the blue turf tonight. Later in the first quarter, there's another touchdown. This time it's Jaden Hill rambling into the end zone. That's a great student section. We saw one in Vardaman. 13-0 Golden Wave, no PAT there. And seconds in the first quarter, DeSoto Central fights back. They make it into the end zone. Eric Perry, he finds Quentin Hanna. Extra point was good for them, 13-7. And Tupelo, they go on to win this 34-14, moving on in the playoffs. Baldwin versus Smithville over in Baldwin. We just talked about Baldwin, but we had to show the Bearcats band breaking it down. How about that? Absolutely right before the third quarter, the Bearcats of Baldwin already up 38-0. And here comes a pick 6. Look at him go. Oh, excuse me, that was a handoff to number 7, Marquez Davenport. Having to show off some shifty moves, of course. That put it 45-0 early in the third. Extra point was good, but Smithville not going to give up yet. That's a nice little pass and catch there by Lane O'Brien. By the end, the Bearcats were just a little too much for the Seminoles this year. And that means the Bearcats, they won it all with a shutout, 45-0. Like we said earlier, they will play Baldwin next week. And Starkville High captains breaking it into the field tonight. Stonka Burnside, he's something to be messed with. Huge fourth down stop. And here comes Trey Petty, also something to be messed with from Starkville. Running back Jay Stevenson, he runs it down the sideline for a huge gain right before he's pushed out of bounds in the red zone. Cheerleaders loving it. Trey Petty, he passes to wide receiver Stonka Burnside. We just saw him earlier. And that is another touchdown for Starkville. They're up first, 6-0, and first touchdown of the game. Defensive back Shiloh Johnson, he gets a huge sack, giving them some defense to be worried about. Starkville also shutting out South Haven 44-0. And we've got some full screen scores for you. Canton loses to Lafayette County, the Commodores, 14-10. Northside loses to the Calhoun City Wildcats. They keep on going. What a season the Wildcats have had this year, 36-6. New Albany loses to Big Louie. Win another shutout. Lots of shutouts tonight, 37-0. And Houston they win in a close battle, 21-20 against Senatobia. North Panola cannot crack it against Winona, 49-20. And double overtime in this Oxford game. We couldn't make it. We're down on shooters, but I heard this was crazy. Oxford just barely outlasts Germantown 47-44. Now, this is what you've all been waiting for, of course, Cheer of the Week. I had a little fun with this while Jason was gone. I thought, why not try to cheer myself? So Vardaman High School, they tried to show me their favorite cheer. Just take a look at this.
Here we go, yell loud, lift it up.
The Friday Night Fever Cheer Squad of the Week is sponsored.
You guys at home enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed trying to cheer. I was a dancer growing up, but I think it's certainly clear that I did not cheer. Anyone who thinks cheerleading is easy, please know, I think we saw it in that video. It's not even a little bit. And it was also raining. Tonight is raining and it's pouring, but no one was snoring because it was playoff time. West Point against Gentry Rams, and they fought it out in that weather. Kanan Daniels, he runs to the left for a tough 2-yard gain, making positive yardage. Coach appreciating a positive yardage. Quintarian Tillman Evans, he fakes the run passes to Mac McGee for a 3-yard touchdown. Not a big play, but big on the scoreboard. Extra point, no good. Green Wave up first, 6-0. Gentry QB Anthony Brown hands off to Jalen Silas, but that is a tackle for a loss by Jordan Rush. He says not today. West Point still up 6-0. Evans, he's calling his own number. He said, I'll just take it from here. And he is going all the way, barely touched. And that's 14-0 for the Green Wave. And it keeps on rolling because West Point, they win 58-8. Moving on in the playoffs, the Hamilton Lions hosting Sebastopol Bobcats. Hamilton, 3-game home winning streak on the line. Bobcats strike first. Tyler Perkins, he's taking it to the house for a 25-yard touchdown. Extra point was good, 7-0 Bobcats. And here comes Bobcats again, few plays later. Sebastopol, Tyler Perkins, and he screen passes to Keenan White, and there goes Adarius McDougal taking it all the way, a little handed off. 40-yard touchdown. But here comes the Lions, quarterback Justin Werner. Trent Jones, 5-yard touchdown. Lions outlast the Bobcats just barely, 32-28. Lions are moving on in the playoffs. And a little ways from home in Warren Central, Eric Collins Jr., he's bringing it around town, and he brings it into the end zone. That's a touchdown, absolutely. Saltillo's Lakai Freeman to Kobe Owens, and that's a good-sized run. It takes a couple Vikings to take him down. Lakai Freeman picked off by Vikings Julian Dimby, but it's okay. The offense played a little defense there. Vikings Nash Morgan, he sends it deep. Look at that pass, airing it out to Zach Evans, and that's another Vikings touchdown. And here comes Aiden Greer, also another Vikings touchdown. I think you guys get the point. Saltillo Tigers, they did not move on in the playoffs. Warren Central won 46-19. Now another team on the road was the Amory Panthers. They went to West Lauderdale, and this was quite a defensive battle. They were battling it out, but Amory, they are looking to make a score. Here comes Amory looking to block this after they blocked a field goal. Emmanuel Randall, he takes it in for a touchdown. Kind of hard to see, but that was in the end zone, and that was the only score of the first half. Just look at the defensive battle. You can't miss it. Defense after defense after defense. Amory held strong. Turnovers after turnovers. But after all of the turnovers, Amory, they go on to lose, 7 to West Lauderdale's 14. Panthers will not be moving on in the playoffs, but the defense, it was strong tonight, as were all of the playing. And so we have Garner with even more plays because he is at the MAIS football, not just MHSAA here for WTVA Friday Night Fever. Garner, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, and when you're talking about MAIS, especially in our area, there was really no team as dominant as Starkville Academy. But tonight they had their biggest challenge yet, hosting Simpson Academy. The winner goes to the state championship. And while it was an away game for them, Simpson Cougars were decking out the visitor stand. But our first play is going to be the Vols because DB Trace Love is going to get a big sack on third down, turn the ball back over. This is going to be in the second quarter when the Vols are down 12-0. First half is almost over, and Briggs Bennett, he's going to send it, and Haysbury is going to get that pick, and it's going to keep the Vols from responding at the end of the half. Simpson, they had the ball for most of the third quarter. They get a lot of short gains. This, however, was not a short gain. Quarterback Barrett McKinney with a big play, almost hitting me to move the ball forward, and that drive's going to end with McKinney pushing the ball into the end zone for a Simpson touchdown. They're going to lead 20-0 after that. The Vols are going to need a perfect final quarter, but the fans, they're behind them. They're ready to see that comeback. And quarterback Briggs Bennett gets a big rush to set them up for that potential comeback. Could we see it tonight? Bennett's going to pass to Owen Kuvalon, and then he's going to dodge some defenders, move forward, but the ball's going to get stripped, and Simpson will recover. That's going to end the Vols' hopes and dreams of a state championship. Starkville's going to lose this one 26-7. It's a devastating end for a really talented team. But like I said, this was a really talented team. And tonight might be the end for this season. But what a great season it was. Like I said earlier at the beginning, there's no team in our area in the independent schools that was as dominant as Starkville Academy. This really was like the best team in all of MIS, at least in our area. So, Coach Nick should be really proud of this team. This is a really great season for them, and they'll be back next season. Some playoff games, they're exciting, and they can, we're all about the road to glory in Friday Night Fever, but sometimes it's about that ending, that tragic moment where a season comes to an end. And it was great to see my alma mater once again because these fans were really passionate tonight. Win or lose, this is one of the best fan bases out there. Live in Starkville, Garner Montgomery, WTVA Friday Night Fever.
And even more scores for you tonight. Amanda Elsie knocks out Choctaw County 38-32. Biggersville. They play big. They score big. 49 to Okolola's 8. And Caledonia outlasting Newton County 27-24. More scores coming to you. Bowling Green, Louisiana 42 to Winston Academy's 13, knocking them out. But Mooreville, the Troopers keep on trooping 27 to Humphreys County 20. So they will be moving on in the playoffs. And Calhoun Academy outlasts Lee, Arkansas 52-44 in overtime. Couple overtime matchups tonight. And we might see some more in college football this weekend as we see Jason Williams. He's somewhere. I think I heard that he's in Georgia.
Okay. Around this time tomorrow, we should have a winner between a top 10 matchup between the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs and the number 9 Ole Miss Rebels. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I think I might be more excited about this view I'm looking at right now. It looks really nice to look at. I'm gonna be excited to look at it tomorrow. But right after the break, me and Sammy Roebuck are gonna talk some college ball right after the break.
Action tonight. You heard some of it. Some of these teams will be moving on to the quarterfinals next week. Some of their roads to state are over. But there's also college ball to be had, and it's going to happen tomorrow. You guys have had to listen to my voice all night long, but don't worry. We're bringing Jason Williams in for this last block of the show to talk about some college ball. Jason, how is it going over in Athens?
Oh, it's been fun. You know, I've been hanging around all day in Athens, downtown Athens. I've been able to catch up with a lot of Ole Miss fans. But in the morning, I got a chance to talk to Reese Davis, the College Game Day host, and, you know, just asking about, hey, what do you think's got to happen for Ole Miss to come in here tomorrow night and come away with the win? He told me, you know, got to have perfect QB play, essentially from Jackson Dart, use his legs and his arms, and he's essentially just got to be perfect the entire night because Georgia's defense always plays really well. So Jackson Dart's just got to have an amazing day if Ole Miss wants to come in here and get a win tomorrow night.
Not gonna happen.
And then you also have the Rebels. Sounds like you've got some company over there. The Rebels are not the only ones on the road, though, this week because, of course, Mississippi State is traveling to College Station tomorrow. Last road game of the year. How do you feel about the Bulldogs? Do they have any chance to get this last dub in before the Egg Bowl?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. Last week I saw State play Kentucky at home, and they were only able to score 3 points in their own stadium. They got to find a way to, you know, just get some passion, get some energy going if they want to find a way to go into College Station tomorrow and find a way to get a win. A couple plays got to go their way for Mississippi State to find a way to win on the road tomorrow night. So I'm not really sure if that's going to happen for State.
You're absolutely right. They have a lot to change with the offense and the defense. They've got a lot cut out for them this week against Texas A&M. And lastly, Alabama, Crimson Tide. What do you think they're going to do after 2 back-to-back wins?
You know, you hear a lot about trap games. You know, you get 2 big wins for Alabama against Tennessee, against LSU. You might hear about trap games, but I don't expect that at all since it's a game that's going to lock up the SEC West if they win it. But that's going to be all for me now from Athens, Georgia. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night. From Athens, I'm Jason Williams, WTVA 9 News. Back to you, Sammy.